Hello and welcome to Home Truths. We're on location today on the set of Series 3 of All About The McKenzies. It's a situation comedy which is due to air on the Capital's new TV network, London Live, this spring. And we're here today to talk about what many are saying is a taboo within the media, black diversity within the media. Most audiences from the LGBT community, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender or questioning community and non-able-bodied people are seeing themselves being represented on screen and also behind the scenes. But most black Britons, for instance 2 million black Britons in England, are seeing a decline in their representation on screen. And this is something that is very worrying, not just to me, but also to my guest today. My guest today is the writer, creator, director and producer of the situation comedy All About The McKenzies. And most people are saying his show could do for the UK exactly what The Cosby Show did in America in the 80s, which is bring not only a black audience, but also a white audience onto the sofas week in and week out. So let's talk to him and find out if that is the case. How are you, Samuel?
I'm great, thank you.
So most people might remember you from Hotel Babylon, which was kind of like the early part of 2000. And then before that, you're the first black ranger in the Power Rangers. Is that a thing for you? Did you think you were carving out your career to be that lone black ranger as an actor on these TV series?
No, actually, do you know, I think Hotel Babylon, was in 2009. Because I remember I was 19 when I did that, I think. Was it? No? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But what I do know is that Rangers was a shock to me because I didn't even know that program was still existing. But I was shocked to find out that there was an audition for it and I had to go to about 2. And when I found out I'd got it, it was just like, oh my gosh, I used to watch this when I was a kid and now I'm actually one of them. So, yeah,
But it was a big deal because it was like you were the first black main lead character as a black ranger. They never had it before. That's a big deal.
I mean, there was one before, but obviously that was in America, and it was a big thing for me because like I just found that as an achievement for someone here in Britain to be doing a show like that. And I mean, even up to today, you might get the odd child that may remember my face. Even though my hair may look different, they would remember my face and say, hey, that's that Black Ranger. And I'll be like, yeah.
That's a good thing. Do you wear that as a kind of a badge of honour, badge of pride?
Do you know what? Not really, because I don't really like talking about it.
Why?
Because it was so long ago and you know, I'm more about the McKenzies and what I'm doing, and that's more where I'm at now. Whereas before it was like, oh yeah, there's that, and I did that before. I just wanted to move on from that, really.
Well, I think okay, you say you want to move on for it, but I think it's a good thing. I think a lot of young people today don't get enough positive images of particularly black men on our TV screen. So here you are, as a kind of a superhero, you know, righting wrong in a very positive sense. That is something that I think, as a badge of honour, I'd wear with pride.
Yeah, it is something to be proud of. You know, I've always said to my agent that anything that I was going to do, it would be representing a positive image of black people. But that's a whole different story.
No, explain that. What did you say to your agent?
Basically, the types of roles or auditions that I was going up for, it was the same kind of stereotype kind of roles, the guy on the estate or this guy who did drugs or just black people being represented in a negative light. And I didn't, you know, I was growing within myself because I'm on my spiritual path and I just see that we are more than what we are being represented at present. I just had to take a stand, even if it meant I won't be doing a lot of acting work. I had to take that stand and say, I can't be doing this because I'm not going to support a script written by someone that's going to say, we are like this. Fair enough, it's a script. Anyone can write a story. but it doesn't mean I'm going to support that kind of story, because it's more than entertainment to me. This is about values and ethics.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember we spoke in the past, and you talked about some of your first roles on TV, and you were the young guy who was getting into trouble, being arrested by the police, etc. And we talked about a whole thing of that negative image of particularly young actors, young black actors, when they're being cast, stereotypically cast as the kind of the troublemaker, the youth, the knife carrier, or they're the dad who's left the mum with all the kids, and they're on this road to kind of being this drug gangster dealer or something, but nothing positive. The lawyers, the sociologists, the economists out there, they're not there. You took a big risk by saying, I don't want to be represented in these stereotypical roles, knowing that could affect your livelihood.
Yeah.
And yet you still did it. Commendable, yes, but some may say, stupid.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, most people live in fear. People don't want to speak out against something because there's fear of criticism, fear of being rejected or being alone because you're saying something completely different. But if you're armed with a lot of information about what is actually happening and knowing yourself, once you've got that confidence, you will actually take a stand and actually say something, because many of these great sages in the past have always said, be the change you want to be. And, that's exactly what I'm doing. So, I haven't, just by saying no to my agent on pretty much most things, there's a risk in doing that, because after all, they are an agency, and they get paid based on commissions from what actors do. There may be a bit of conflict because, Sam, we're putting you up for stuff and you're not doing this, etc. And I just had to keep it straight and say, look, this is what I'm doing.
Did you stay with the agency?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still with the agency now, but I mean, obviously, because of All About The McKenzies, I've had to put myself on hold so I can actually focus on this.
So you said to the agent, I want roles that are more diverse, that's once challenge me as an actor, and don't play it to a stereotype based on the colour of my skin. And you went on a kind of a journey. You talked about a spiritual journey, but you went on a journey because things happened in your life. And I know you had a daughter.
Yeah.
And then you were in a relationship, but the relationship went south. It failed in many ways, but you're still there together, parents looking after your daughter, and that kind of focused you to look at yourself, and you brought out, I suppose, some of the demons that may have been in you by writing All About The McKenzies. Do you want to share a bit of that with me?
All About The McKenzies. A lot of people ask me, Sam, how did all of this start? I would say it's a mixture of different things that all compounded for me to just do something about it. Like, yes, I was in a relationship. I'm 27 years old. Yeah, I got married at the age of 22. I got divorced at the age of 25. I have a 4-year-old daughter out of that relationship who doesn't live with me. She lives with her mum. And it was a traumatic experience. I mean, what I was going through in the relationship, I'm not saying that I'm the angel here, because, hey, we all make mistakes. But, what I had to go through, experiencing my first child and not necessarily being the dad that I wanted to be. My theory is, mummy, daddy, get married, live happily ever after.
But it doesn't always work out like that.
Yeah, but it doesn't always work out like that. In my case, it didn't work out like that. And
was there a fear that you were going to become that stereotype you wish not to be, in terms of the black father leaving the child with the mum and the single parent? Was there a fear that may have stopped you from first saying
that? I wouldn't say that was a fear. It was more I had to put up with a lot for me to actually say I have to step away from this. I must have gone through a lot. Obviously, I won't disclose specifically what I'm talking about, but I would say I felt more guilt because I had done that, because I want my daughter to see me all the time. I want to be that role model of a guy and father figure for my daughter, rather than her absorbing it from British television, which ain't really going to be that promising, or just random guys on the street. Not that I'm judging people, but I mean, if you look at society today, you know, I mean, you're not getting that positive role model. And, you know, this is what I wanted to represent in my show. I wanted to be the voice for the fathers that want to be involved in their kids' lives, because we always focus on the single mum, but we don't look at the fathers that are wanting to get that contact with their daughters and spend time with them, nurture them, grow with them, do their homework with them, read a bedtime story, put them to bed. You know, this is very deep. So there was that aspect of it mixed with, why am I not seeing black British people on screen? And I thought to myself, right, I went back, I even wrote an ebook on all of this, and you know, I was doing my research, found out what shows we did have, why they had come off of screen, and
what did you find why they'd come off? What was your research? What did it tell you?
I mean, for example, the last black family program we had was The Crouches on BBC, which lasted from 2003 to 2005. Now, my personal perspective is, I know they had a white writer, which could be a reason why people couldn't really relate to what was going on. Another angle of this is, you had a named cast. That's great. Everyone does that, but it doesn't necessarily mean your show is going to be highly favored. The thing is with broadcasters, they make decisions based on what they think will work, but not necessarily all the time.
So are you saying they're not talking to the community that they're trying to represent? Are you saying they're not having that dialogue with the black community about what shows would resonate with them? But then, like I said right at the beginning of the show, you know, I've seen your show, All About The McKenzies, and I cited the fact that I think it's quite similar to the Cosbys in the 80s, where the stories, like you said, you set out to write it about a point to say not all single fathers are like this, and then it happened to be that you were looking on the TV and you weren't seeing yourself represented it, so it became you as part of the show. But the stories you talk about resonate with any community, with any family. So I think when I talk about media and broadcasters, is it because they didn't have a conversation with people like you or me, or was it just because at the end of the day they thought, well, we need to do something, so let's just put a show together and they're going to like it anyway?
Yeah. Well, the problem is, a lot of the programs that we have on TV, they're not really innovative. They're just dealing with arguments, issues, fear, revenge, cheating. Now, if you consistently show people that on a daily basis, you will control the masses. And that's just the bottom line. That is actually scientific. Whereas if you've got something that's innovative, that make people think and reflect, they can actually look at themselves and start applying changes in their lives, as opposed to watching someone argue with another person and not learn from that experience. Obviously, I'm not going to expose certain shows, but for those that are watching or listening, you already know what I'm talking about.
So, okay. So All About The McKenzies then was a conscious decision to readdress the imbalance in terms of diversity on our TV by having an all-black cast, but you know, supporting actors from all different races are part of the show as well. And All About The McKenzies was also you cathartically working through some of the issues that were taking place in your personal life. Yeah? Are you happy with, and I'm going to ask you to go pretty personal now, are you happy with the response from your ex-wife in relation to the show and what it has portrayed? Has that been a positive thing for all of the family, you, your daughter, and your ex-wife?
Okay, well, there's always two sides to a coin. I will say my part, she will say her part. That will probably happen with every relationship that is out there. I mean, she knows what I'm doing with the show. She supports me in what I'm doing. Obviously, in the show, I have over-exaggerated on certain things for the sake of entertainment. Obviously, I won't put in the show specific things that I had gone through for the sake of privacy, but I will use the thread and I will be creative and artistic around that, where everyone can actually relate to it. Because the thing is with the McKenzies, I'm not just talking about a young guy who wants to have more time with his daughter. You know, it is a love story at the end of the day, but at the same time, you know, I am dealing with so many issues. You know, I am dealing with, for example, in the second series, you know, I deal with, because my character in the show is an actor, and it was, we're not getting positive type roles. There was the issue.
There's underage sex.
There's
grooming. There's bullying.
That, there's that as well.
I've watched the series, but it's very good.
Number one fan. But also as well, the educational system as well, and what is being taught, what's not being taught.
Brilliant episode with the character who plays your younger brother when he does that whole kind of, you know, rally the troops and school and education.
And it just goes to show you, it also shows you as well that one person can make a difference, because had he not have stepped up, the school would have just gone with whatever the teacher said. And I've been to school, and I've had to listen to my teachers tell me this, or this is going to be this way. The thing is, there's just so much control out there where people are directionless and they are in fear, because if you do that, then this is going to happen. Or if you do this, we're going to smack you on the wrist, or we're going to find you. We're going to put you in jail, or you can suffer from this. I think that is complete nonsense. You say we have freedom of speech. Yes, we do, but no one is using that, because they're too stuck in fear. And it does take people to actually step up and say something. And now, if you go back to all the leaders we've had, you can go back to Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and all of those people. Unfortunately, they all died for what they had to say and what they had to represent. That is also a reason why black people aren't speaking up, because they believe, I may die coming out and saying anything.
So there's I suppose it's apathy within the community. So you're saying, like me, as in you, people have got to step out of their comfort zone and have got to be a bit more vocal. So you're on a mission, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely on a mission.
So what's your story in terms of your experiences so far with, say, the BBC or other TV networks, in saying you need to put more colour on screen?
Well, I mean, when I did the first series, I had been messaging broadcasters, emailing, etc. Obviously, I got X amount of rejections via email. Some people didn't even respond. And I had a lot of single mums contact me saying their kids love the show. So then I thought, maybe this is an angle to go with the kids. This was before all the new stuff I had done. So I thought, all right, well, let me contact Children's BBC. Let me just send them a trailer and the first little short. So I sent it to them. The same day I got a response from CBBC. I was actually quite shocked. And, you know, they were basically saying, this looks very interesting. Can you come and have a meeting with us? And I thought, wow, that's a very, very good result. Yeah, so I went to BBC Manchester. I spoke with two executives there. I would say two middle-aged white women. However, when I had the meeting with them, first thing they said to me, the show's too black. I said to them, it's a black family, what do you expect? Anyway, we was talking, and they were talking about another show they had on their channel, which was called the 4 O'Clock Club. And they said how they think it's a bit similar. I said, how on earth has this got anything to do with that show? It is completely different on a different scale. Anyway, after the result from that meeting was, I was going to think of an idea to do a spin-off show with the little girl in the show, because she is of that age range. So I had written a treatment and stuff, and I had sent it to them, and they were like, this is fantastic. We think this will be great for CBBC, etc., etc. We're going to send this off to our controller, see what she has to say. as all the staff know in broadcasting and networks, people don't last long as controllers. And their controller left and a new person came. That idea went out the window. And I was crushed from that experience, very, very crushed. But I didn't let that stop me for creating a next series of All About The McKenzies. Anyone would have probably given up, but once you have love and passion and you are rooted and have deep belief in one idea that you know is going to make a change, you will always find a way to keep that moving.
Absolutely, but is the story there about execs and how we need to change the colour of and introduce a little bit more colour in management in terms of our networks, those who are commissioners as well. So the argument isn't just about the on-screen talent. And there is an argument when we turn on the news. There's only a few news readers that I can mention who are of colour. If I look at EastEnders, I can do the same thing, some of our popular dramas. And if I look at documentaries, I can't see anyone who's fronting a documentary. When I look at some hard political current affairs show like Newsnight, I don't see one presenter. So there is an issue in front of the camera, but equally there's an issue behind the camera as well, introducing more diversity as well. So again, what then, not your story, what is it that you need to be telling our directors, our network heads, about what they've got to do to make changes for the next generation coming up?
Well, here's the thing. It's not necessarily telling those specific people. I'm talking to everyone, because the only change that can be made is the person that sets out to do that change, because we are the ones that control our own reality, regardless of what people say. I mean, up to now, people still don't understand how I've done what I've done, because I've completely gone against the system that we've been told it should happen that way. I've never gone to drama school. I've never gone to film school. I never went on a script writing course. I went out and learned this stuff myself, used the web to show people what I could do, and then people came to me as the result of that. So it wasn't a situation where I was writing a script and sending it to a network, hoping they was going to believe in me, etc. Because that wasn't the case. A lot of these people, they write scripts and they never see their dreams come to manifest, because they're always dependent on someone else to make a decision for them.
So take more ownership.
Exactly.
You have to be a doer.
You have to do it.
You have to be a doer.
That's why we're here. At the end of the day, you're either going to be someone who controls your life, or you're going to be working for someone else who's going to tell you what to do. And most people will stay there because it's comfortable. I get a check at the end of the month. I'm fine. But what people don't understand is that now, rapidly, people are losing their jobs.
Absolutely.
People are being made redundant. Some pensions are getting cut.
So we need more of that entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly.
Where you take on those challenges that you can see in front of you and not get put off by them, but front them. Just go for it, because if you don't do it, no one else is going to.
Exactly. And also, what I'd just like to add as well, one thing that's not failing is online. Google make billions a year. Amazon makes billions a year. There are ways of making the income you desire online. I've started to tap into that, and this is something I can share with people. I think what I can actually say to people is, I'm not being big-headed, but I do class myself as a leader of a web series movement, because I'm showing people what they're doing. I've given a free ebook to people to explain to them the journey of what's going on, and there's going to be a revised edition coming out soon. And I am showing people how they can actually do what it is they want, achieve their goals, make a change, and stop being dependent on other people. I can actually do that. But people really do need to just ask me questions.
I think that's a good thing, and we're going to get the link and put that up as well. But I also think there shouldn't be an argument to let people off the hook. There shouldn't be an argument when, if we look at the Black experience and Black UK experience, 10% of the UK the English population are made up from the Black community, and we contribute about £250 million in terms of licence fee to, say, the BBC. I don't think we should be allowing them to be let off the hook by saying, yes, we should take ownership. We should be more entrepreneurial. But here's the thing that Jude Kelly said. Jude Kelly is the artistic director of the South Bank. She was talking on Radio 4 about the challenges for women, and particularly women in the arts and being conductors. She said that unless young girls can see women, people like themselves, doing things like this, they will never feel that they can do it. And I say, isn't the same for black young males and females? If they can't see a positive figure reading the news, being that politician, being that economist, being that leading current affairs, doing documentaries, being that commissioner from Radio 1 or the controller of Radio 4 coming out and speaking and having that if they can't see it, they may think they can never do it. So we shouldn't just be putting the onus on, yes, self-reliance, absolutely, follow your dream, don't let things stop you. But at the end of the day, we need to aspire. We need people to feel inspired by things. And to do that, we need to see it. So we shouldn't just let people off the hook.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I mean, what I discovered recently last year, I think it was in December, I was asked to speak on the panel at the Caribbean Direct, it's called the Caribbean Invisibility Seminar. And I went down there. One of the persons on the panel was someone from BBC Scotland. I think his name was Marcus Ryder, who deals with current affairs and diversity or something like that. And he had said that this is what gave me a whole new outlook on the hierarchy of how it kind of is working. Basically, the BBC can have a policy. Everyone employed within the BBC has to adhere to the policy. It is the policy to not have an all-black cast.
Really?
Yes. That is the policy. So everyone underneath is paying attention to the instructions. Here we are going to these people for help, and they're saying, no this, no that. We can send all the scripts we want and ideas we want. That's why some people can give you a story and say, oh, I went to the BBC, but they were saying, oh, can we make this person white? Or there's a reason they're saying that, because the policy states no all black cast.
Yeah, you can have an all-white cast.
Well, I can talk ages for this.
I know, and we sadly we can't. I'm going to have to get you back. But before we talk about the new series of All About The McKenzies, like I said, it's due to air on London Live this spring. By the way, you must check it out because it's going to be fantastic. Before we do that, I want to quickly just ask you this one question, and I suppose lots of people may be asking you this because of the popularity and the success that you are gaining right here on these shores. Is there a temptation for you to go across the pond and seek even bigger fame and fortune? Is that anything that's ever crossed your mind at all?
You know, there's this myth that people believe you have to go to America to be successful or to succeed anywhere. If you succeed in America, you'll succeed anywhere. But wherever you go, there you are. I'm here and I'm telling you, it doesn't matter where you are. You can be successful where you are, and naturally people will come to you. And, you know, if I'm willing to travel wherever in the world or galaxy, you know, my mind ain't limited to where we are at. I'll travel wherever I want to travel to get what I want done, with my mission in mind of what it is that I'm actually doing. You know, people may say, oh, yeah, Sam did the McKenzies, but he went off to America, he's left us. But, you know, it doesn't mean that I've not left the country. I was still born in Britain, you know, I'm still providing for Britain, for our people here. You know, it doesn't matter where it is that I will go. I mean, I've not asked to go across the pond, but I won't turn it down. But it doesn't mean I will forget my hometown, which is London, where I've been born and bred.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Series 3 then, which is about to air. How are you feeling? We've taken you off the set. Is it all going well?
Yes, it's going well. You know, every production has its challenges.
Of course.
But yeah, it's going well. I've stepped it up this series. We are going deeper with certain issues, just elaborating on where we was with the other series. We're going a bit more deeper now, and really we're bringing the comedy in, but we are also bringing the innovativeness. That's what I want to do. I want people to reflect on it. So after the episode, you have a feel-good feeling, but a call to action feeling. It's not just,
so it's kind of like a social activist in the drama. There's a commentary of how we're all living and what we should be doing and stuff. You don't just want people to be apathetic and just absorb for that 30 minutes or however long it is. You want them to start to do something about what they've just watched.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm doing is I'm basically looking to bring family back together. Not just with the black community, but every community. Bringing the family unit back together. With the rise of technology, the amount of families that don't integrate with each other because they're on their iPad or they're on their phone, no one's having a conversation anymore. When's the last time a family played a board game together and had fun?
And sat down and had dinner together.
Exactly. Everyone's in their own room, or, the teenagers are not in the house. It's not a family no more because everyone is so involved in all this technology. Don't get me wrong, without the technology, I would not have done my show. There's YouTube, etc. But the family unit, we are losing the family unit. And if we lose the family unit, we're screwed.
Okay, that's a kind of a point we're going to have to, because of time, we're going to have to stop. But what I want to do is invite you back on the show. I want to talk more about All the McKenzies, but let me ask you this: how has London Live been for you? How have they treated you? It's been a good experience. They've kind of allowed you just to be and do.
I'm very, very grateful for London Live. I think it's great what they are doing. I'm happy that the McKenzies gets to go on London Live. First TV experience with the show. London Live, they've acquisitioned the show. Basically, they bought it as it is. No changes need to be done. I'm glad that they can see it as broadcastable quality, bearing in mind that's something I had learnt on the whole journey itself from when I did the first series, because I remember Nickelodeon emailed me and there was a guy who said to me, I see what you're doing, but if you really want to make broadcasters come to you, make it broadcast length. I took that knowledge and did my series 2. I'm on TV now. So we need to pay attention to the instructions that are given, because the ego gets in the way and we just do our own thing. But we do need to listen to the people that are up there to a certain degree.
Okay. All About the McKenzies, due to air this spring on London Live, which is the Capital's new TV network.
March 31st.
We'll put all those details on the screen. Also, for more information about All About the McKenzies, do check out allaboutthemckenzies.com. And of course, for more information on London Live, it's thestandard.co.uk/London Live. There's a Latin saying, I'm going to try and say this. It's Exemplo Damascus, which in Latin means example shall we lead, and you are leading by example.
Woo!
Samuell Benta, thank you for coming on Home Truths. Okay, that's it for this edition of Home Truths. As always, words are one of the greatest weapons known to men. They can heal a heart, but they can also pierce any broken soul. So please, wherever you are, whoever you're with, do think carefully whenever you're delivering your Home Truths. Take care.